This new sound,
Yeah.
more melodic.
Yeah. You like it?
Dude, I love it.
Okay, well,
I love it.
yeah.
So talk to me about this record, and what made you want to change basically everything? You're starting from scratch.
It was an epiphany. Actually, it happened at Warped Tour. I was touring with Ronnie on his bus, just hanging out, and I had a talk with some industry people there that kind of just twisted my brain. I was like, oh my God, I never thought of this,
Yeah.
And it just started milling in my brain. I was like, you know what, this is something I need to pursue and need to do. And I just decided, you know what, I just did this. I can't keep beating a dead horse, even though it's my baby.
Right.
It's 6-7 years into it, man, and I needed to do something fresh. I needed to start singing. You know what I mean? So that's what I did.
But how do you go from something like that, where you've been with that band and that project for 6-7 years, and there's lots of blood, sweat, and tears that went in with it, and yet you're going to start fresh again when you're already. I mean, I feel like you guys were at a high level already.
We made it to a pretty high level. I'd like to say I appreciate that. I think more or less it's like it's a business move as well, man. As well as artistic, it's like you know when it's over. Right. You need to move on. You need to do something that's going to be more you now. If I were to walk around now in a police hat and as much makeup as I did, it wouldn't be me now.
Right.
So this is me now. I wear a little makeup and shit like that, but I'm still doing what I believe in and what I feel.
Right. Do you ever look back at that and the makeup, for example, the outfits and all that? Do you ever look back at that and just like you question why you did stuff like that, or is that something that you still feel good about? Because I know there's artists that look back in their past and they're like, why did I do that?
Like crazy? No, I mean, more or less, I know why I did it. I mean, I was going through a very dark period of my life. Yeah. That's what my inside looked like, and I was wearing it on my outside. Now I'm a little bit more content to where I am and as a person, and I'm dealing with stuff a lot better. Right. Yeah.
Now let's talk a little more about Alchemy. Take me to the studio going to record this record. I know there's a couple tracks you did with Ronnie.
Every song.
Every single song, not just everything.
Yeah, so the whole
I guess technically everything.
The whole album, yeah.
Okay, so what was that experience like? Was that the first time that you sat down and wrote with him on a record? Like, I know you guys are buds, but like, is that the first time that professionally you guys did that?
Yeah, I mean, we were living together for about 3 years, and then out of nowhere, I'm like, hey, well, you want to do my record? And he's like, yeah, I'll totally kill it for you. And we just sat down acoustically to see where we were at, and it just flowed from there. We did it in 2 different parts. We wrote an EP, got picked up by Victory, and Victory wanted an LP, so we wrote the other half. So it was a year process.
Do you feel like that's fast?
I feel like I've been waiting forever. I still feel like it's not out. It's out, yeah. But I still don't feel like it is. Yeah.
Right. So, creating these songs, I mean, what is it about these songs that made it to this record? Why were they the proper introduction to the new, to Dead Girls Academy?
I just feel like they represented who I am now. They represented what, the 3 years me and Ronnie spent together, about knowing each other, about women that were in and out of our lives, about friends that are in and out of our lives, about looking in on Hollywood, looking in on the world even, about how fucked up it is,
Yeah, right.
And those songs kind of represented like, hey man, this is who Dead Girls Academy is. And I chose the name Alchemy because it's a transformation and change. Right. And it's a new chapter, so that fit.
Now, with all those changes, what kind of challenges did you face while creating this record?
I've been in the studio with producers before. Ronnie had a vision. That vision had to be met. And I worked my ass off. I sang high in a range that's I've never sang in before, and he. And, sometimes you just forget even how to sing in the studio after the 10th time. And I think I just pushed myself so hard to become better, and he helped me become better. Right. And I think that was the hardest thing to do for me, is get out of this box I've been in, and I'm just happy to say I took what I've done, and I took the new and I mixed them.
Now, you were mentioning you kind of tried new things with vocals. What was that like for you? And did you have to, because you sang a different way, did you have to write a different way as well?
Yeah, I mean, the best part about the album is, like, I've wrote all my other albums. I wrote every single one of those albums, and this was the first album I said, you know what, man, I'm burned. Yeah. Give me your representation. Ronnie wrote besides Conversations, Ronnie wrote every single song, and obviously it was there, and it's just the interpretation of what he, and it was really cool to see someone else's idea of what this should be. Right. And I'd be sitting there, it's cool, not cool, and there'd be disagreements, man. Like, I mean, I'm just like, this isn't that cool, and he'd be like, no, trust me. And literally at the end of putting it all together, I'm like, oh man. I gotta just stop opening my mouth, because you're just freaking killing it, man. So that's kind of the process right now. Yeah.
Now, when you work with someone like that, is as equally involved on your album, you know, as you are. How do you go about still making it sound like your sound and not Ronnie's sound?
I mean, it's easy. I mean, more or less, I have a very specific voice. One of the reasons Ronnie wanted to work with me in general. I have this kind of, you know, unique active rock voice. That's what I've been told. I'm going to just go with that. You know, it's reminiscent of like Motley Crue, and then it mixes in some, you know, I guess some older Manson, and then whatever. And then he put his spin, his poppier spin on everything, and everything just came together. Because I've been growing up on that stuff all my life. I just never sat down and started singing it. And the minute I started singing it, I felt really good about it, and it just changed. Everything changed for me. I feel it's good. Yeah.
Well, now that the record's out, you guys did your first your LA show last week, I believe, at the Viper Room. You guys are now on Warped Tour. So, you know, what are the plans now? Are you gonna stick around for the Warped Tour and then maybe eventually do like a proper headline tour for the record? Like, what are the plans?
Well, right now we're gonna be on Warped to the 8th of July, and then we have 2 radio festivals, Rock Fest and then Incarceration, and then we're headed back. Through back to LA, even with Adelita's Way, who's a great radio rock band. So I'm stoked on that, and then we'll see. You know, it's one of those things right now. All the tour submissions are coming up. You know, we're going to see what's around.
Right now, we're here, unfortunately, on the last year for Vans Warped Tour. What does Vans Warped Tour mean to you as a musician, and you know, what kind of impact do you feel it had in your career?
I mean, it definitely helped shape me. I mean, I've been coming to this tour for so many years. I mean, even if I was playing a small tent in a pop punk band or whatever, man, it was just like, okay, what are you doing this summer? Well, we're definitely going to Vans Warped Tour. You know, it's just a camaraderie summer camp, place where you can go and you fit in, where you can let out your anxiety, let out your anger. It's a great place. And you know, I'm kind of elated and grateful that Kevin put me on again. You know, he put me on in 12 for the full tour, and you know, we came in late to this one submission, and Kevin still was awesome enough to give us what he did give us for the tour, and I can't thank him enough for that.
I think the music speaks. Alchemy, the new album, debut album, is out now. You guys be sure to check it out, and that's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys.